everyone, my name is Kishan and welcome to Gems of Thought series episode 3. This video is about explaining 8 basic do's and don'ts in CAPA report writing. So, we are not talking about how to conduct CAPA investigation or implement corrective and preventive actions. Rather, we are talking about when you do all of these and write the report, what things to do and what not to do. These 8 things are very basic that differentiate a well-written CAPA report from a poorly written CAPA report. And if we abide by these tips, I can assure you that you can remain on the good side of your quality assurance. They will thank you and admire you. Also, auditors and inspectors will be happy when they review your CAPA during audits and inspections. So let's begin. First, the language in CAPA report should always be in third person and not in first or second person. This means that if you're writing the report, do not say, "I determined that you had completed safety awareness training late," or "I have concluded that the training was completed late." Instead, say that it was determined that safety awareness training was completed late by the employee responsible for data entry. This sounds more objective, leaves out any personal biases that might be reflected from the usage of first-person language, and it will also eliminate the unnecessary usage of second person since you are addressing the entire audience that will be reading the report at any given point rather than just the person reviewing the report. Alright, so let's move on to the second one. C. When the reference to or emphasis on a subject is not required or intended, write in a passive voice rather than an active voice. Why is that? It is because in such reports, it is more important as to what happened rather than to establish who did it and who should be blamed. And the language of passive voice captures that perfectly. So, unless you have to, do not say submission coordinator reported 3 cases late. Instead, say 3 cases were reported late as a result of, followed by whatever the investigation revealed. The next is kinda silly and my personal pet peeve. Our industry is full of abbreviations and acronyms, and we use it all the time. However, at times, some abbreviations may be confused with others, and that is precisely why you shouldn't keep your audience guessing, but you should elaborate your abbreviations at least upon the first use. From there on, it is okay if you do not elaborate your abbreviations every time in the report because it would defeat the purpose of the abbreviation, but at least do it for the first time. As you can see, one example is MA. It can mean medical affairs, marketing authorization, medical assessment, or medical assessor. So, it would be easy for the reader to confirm the meaning of the abbreviation if you have at least spelled it out once. Let's look at the fourth one. So, in CAPA reports and many other reports, such as audit reports or inspection reports, we should never specify the full name of the individuals. Rather, we should use job roles or titles when we have to address specific people. The objective of the CAPA report is not to raise blame on anybody, nor does it help in resolving the problem anyway. And that is precisely why we should keep our personal out of it and use always job roles or titles to indicate specific people. Another benefit of using job roles would be stipulating that any person with that responsibility may make similar error in future, and hence it emphasizes the need for a good preventive action. The fifth tip is simple and goes without saying, yet you see it being ignored from time to time. And the tip is that we should make the content based on fact and not assumptions. It means that all the revelations and claims made in the investigation results should be supported by findings and facts. At no point it should appear that, as an issue owner or investigator, you are merely guessing or speculating as to what must have happened. And that is why you should support your claims in the CAPA report with sufficient basis that can be verified by anybody if needed. Number 6. This one is more common than you think. When we finish writing the CAPA report, one thing we should never neglect doing is proofreading the content. You would be surprised to know how many grammatical errors and typos may still be within the report. And hence, for the benefit of the reviewer and for the benefit of our own reputation, we should always eliminate these errors by proofreading the content at least once. The next point is not that critical, but I thought of including it anyway, as it renders the report at times inconsistent. And that is the usage of date format in the report. No matter whatever format you use, you should always ensure to stick to it throughout the report. As I indicated, it improves the consistency of the writing and it also makes the content easy on the eyes for the reader. Finally, the 8th and the final tip, which I believe to be very critical, is that our content must be comprehensible, which means it must be logical and coherent. Sometimes we are so much involved in the content, sequence of incidents is unmistakably clear to us, and we will have no confusion about it. But we should remember that our readers would be quite possibly learning about the issue for the first time. So we should always attempt for our readers to be able to sail through the content like a story. And by that I mean we should narrate the incidents in a sequence. As in, first this happened, and it led to this, and this led to that, and as a result of that, finally this big thing happened. The description should start from the history or background behind the issue and end with a conclusion, with each event in between as it happened in time, one after the other. Also, it should never appear that in our report we are jumping from one fact to the other, but we should always ensure the claims being presented are complementing each other, and together they would produce the same logical inference no matter who reads the report. So these were my 2 cents on writing inside any CAPA report. I hope you have found this content useful, and of course, stay tuned for more. Thank you very much for watching.